Duncan here with Kyle, Lacy. Kyle, how you doing, baby?
Doing awesome.
Awesome.
How you doing? You enjoying yourself?
I'm having a good time. We're at a
Yeah.
conference, and we thought we'd take some time apart, not from each other, but from the conference, and spend some time talking, because we usually talk separately. We don't often. This is the first time we're talking together on camera.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're a
That's
little,
true.
We're a little self-centered at the moment. That's okay. So I'm gonna lead the discussion here. Some companies just shouldn't get involved with social media marketing. If you're watching this and you're offended, let me tell you why.
We're offending you for a reason.
We're offending you for a reason. You can save some money, you can save some time, you can save some effort. So if you're short-sighted, don't get involved with social media marketing.
Amen.
It takes time, just like public relations. Earned media, baby, and we know you know that phrase. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes analysis, it takes listening. So, point number one, if you're short-sighted, don't get involved with social media marketing. Kyle, you got a number two?
Yeah, number two is definitely commitment. A lot of corporate companies that have marketing departments have a hard time being committed to something like social media because it's a new tool. And that's the number one thing. You know, you have a strategy, you got to think big, and you have to be committed to what you're developing, because you can't just start it and then quit, because then you die. So when it comes to, no joke, not die physically, but die in the internet sense, which is maybe worse sometimes.
So the next point that we'd like to make is, if your CEO, so I'm going to go with the C theme that Kyle has set up here, if your CEO or your leader doesn't buy in, stay away from social media. That doesn't mean they have to understand every single tactic or the intricacies of your program, but they need to have faith in you and what you're going to do with the program. So the CEO needs to buy in.
See, and a good way to get them to buy in is just to start listening. So a listening tool would be Google Alerts, where you can take them a report and say, this is what's happening on our, conversations around our brand. We should get into it. It's a lot easier to sell somebody on something when you have data to back it up.
So the point is that there are conversations happening, and you need to evaluate: is it more risky for you to be involved, or more risky for you not to be involved? So the next point we'd like to make is: do you really have the content? Do you really have the content to support a social media marketing program?
Absolutely, you got to have a ton of content. But what type of content?
Any kind of content, whether they're pictures, whether you're providing your customers with behind-the-scenes access, whether it's you're bringing the personal side of it to the table, and
content like this kind of content.
So content, you'd agree with content?
Yeah, content. We're talking a lot of PR releases, a little bit more personal than PR releases, and even just talking about how you grow your company, the story behind your company, how it was started, and then empowering your people to write the content as well. Your people meaning your employees.
The next C that we're going to use, we should have just started with the C's, I tell you.
Well, we got 4 C's? We got 3 C's.
The C that I'm going to focus on, I'm turning this around, is the customer. Do you have a customer base that really cares that deeply about your brand? And I know that Kyle is big on this one. Kyle, I know I've seen you talking lately about, do I really care about your company on Facebook?
Right. Oh, well, most of the time I don't. Most of the time I don't care about your company on Facebook. I think that it takes a lot, and Facebook might be a bad example. It takes a lot to interact with people on Facebook, because we're so inundated on Facebook anyway with fan pages and content and look at my new shoes and blah, 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 blah. You need to pull me into the story so I buy in, and then I interact. So the first thing is the storyline, and then actually talking in my language.
It's actually Castory, so it starts with a C. So storyline is great.
Yeah, Castory.
Castory. And I think that the brands without stories will probably perish.
Yeah.
Stories protect brands. Stories make brands more appealing. Stories connect you with brands.
Anything without a story perishes, right? Technically.
Yeah. And places without stories die, and they're gobbled up by shopping malls and retail complexes and parking garages.
Yes.
So
parking garages.
The other thing that I think that we'd like to talk about, which is also a C, is convergence. Are you able to bring everything together? Do you have the power to make that email program that your company is working with incorporate all your social media assets? Is your TV campaign directing people towards your Facebook page?
Yeah, it's integration that leads to conversion. So are you using your traditional marketing? Traditional marketing is not necessarily dying, but it is not as strong as it used to be. So can you use these new tools, as in email marketing, as in social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, not Plaxo or MySpace, and Twitter, to, no offense to people that love them, I don't know why you love them, but can you use them to strengthen the traditional marketing that you're doing now to drive even more conversions than you did before, or leads in general?
So just like you may not have been the right guy or the right girl for every single guy or girl, social media marketing just may not be the right fit for you.
Right.
And save yourself some time, and save us some time by just evaluating carefully whether it's something you want to get into.
Yeah, and don't hire an intern to do it.
Oh God, don't start on that one.
Yeah,
That's
not a C.
That's
though.
a whole separate
That's
discussion.
not a C. That's not a C one. We'll leave that for another video.
Kyle B. Lacy. Sometimes
At. Some people think it's sorry, that was supposed to be the at. So.
at. Kyle Lacy.
Sometimes people think my last name's Placey, but P is actually my middle initial.
What does the P stand for?
Patrick.
Kyle Patrick Lacy and Duncan Michael Alney coming at you.